Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Public and Protective Services Committee meeting for February 18th, 2025. And we have everyone here except Councillor Blackmore is online. So still here, but not you're here. So we'll start with the land acknowledgement. The city respectfully acknowledges the Beaver, Cree, Dene, and Métis people as the original caretakers of these lands and surrounding areas. We are grateful to live, learn, work, and play on the Treaty 8 territory within Turtle Island and acknowledge these lands have been home to the diverse and sovereign First Nations and Inuit nations since time immemorial. And on this committee, we have Councillor Blackmore, Councillor Berg, and Mayor Clayton, as well as myself, Councillor Bosch. So we will call to order. And the adoption of the amended agenda, please. Councillor Berg, thank you.
Thank you, Chair Bosch. I would like to move committee adopt the agenda with the addition of item 10 in camera.
Thank you. We'll call that to question.
Councillor Blackmore in favour.
Thank you. We'll move to delegations 4.1 and welcome the Grande Prairie Firefighters Charitable Foundation. Please come up and let us know what has been happening with you in this last little while. Absolutely.
Check, 1, 2. Morning.
Yeah.
Please introduce yourselves, and you have about 5 or so minutes to give us some updates.
You bet. So my name is Riley Boomgarden. I'm the chairperson of the Grande Prairie Firefighters Charitable Foundation.
And I'm Mark Brazier. I'm the vice chairperson of the Grande Prairie Firefighters Charitable Foundation.
Yeah, so we were just asked to come and kind of give a bit of a lowdown of kind of how we operate, what we do, and kind of some of the stuff we like to do for the city. So basically, we're a charitable foundation consisting of all firefighters and dispatchers from the fire department. And basically, we want to just, our whole goal is to try and just make the community a better place to live. So something we try to do is keep 100% of the proceeds that we raised in Grande Prairie. Unfortunately, with some organizations, you can raise some money and it goes to outside sources like Calgary or Edmonton, but we really try to keep everything here in the city. So currently we consist of a 5-person board, the chairperson, a vice chair, treasurer, 2 general members. For certain events we'll strike a subcommittee just for a little bit of extra help, and we do rely quite a bit on volunteers like other firefighters, and we do sometimes use our family for slave labor and stuff like that too. So everybody's pretty involved, and it's a good way to keep family and friends involved in that kind of stuff too. So I'll just kind of go through a few of our events that we like to raise money at and whatnot. So every year at the end of August, we host our annual golf tournament. It's usually at the Grande Prairie Golf and Country Club the last few years, and that supports our Sparky Secret Wish, which I'll get into a little bit, is our Christmas hamper campaign, and some school lunch programs that we like to help out as well. Last year we raised $58,000 at that when it was all said and done. So that's kind of our big event for the year that we like to do every year, and we get lots of sponsors from local businesses and that kind of stuff. So that's a really fun one. We also host a Bunnock tournament every year. So it's kind of a game. You throw bones at some other bones and whatnot. One of our dispatchers, Janae DeJong, she usually hosts that one. We raised just over $6,000 at that one last year. Our police fire hockey game, which the city helps us out with quite a bit. Battle of the Badges, we call it. We usually pick one charity in the city that we try to donate all the proceeds of that to as well. It's a fun one for us where we get to kind of take part in that one as well. So last year we gave almost $5,000 to Helping Hands. We also take part in McHappy Day every year. We supply volunteers to kind of give away, help sell socks and that kind of stuff at the drive-thrus, and they usually give some kickback to us as well. Also recently partnered with Multisport Canada. where we helped them put on their half marathon they started doing in the city last year as well. So those are a couple of our events we like to host, where that's kind of where we bring in a lot of the money that we then like to disperse. So to some of our donations and initiatives where Mark can talk about that. So
yeah, so the as Riley mentioned, we the money coming in is, a lot of it's based off of volunteer. Even our committee meetings, it's all time that we kind of give outside of work. So it's volunteer. The initiatives, our biggest one is our Sparky Secret Wish. So what that involves is us donating $25,000 worth of gift cards. So it's $500 per family. So these are families that have been nominated through often the school systems. We reach out to the school systems, and any families that have been identified as maybe having a little bit more of a difficult time, we give them $500 and a Christmas ham that Costco generously donate. 30 of them. 30, and then we purchase with the other money raised 20 more for the total of 50 families. I think it was last year that we increased to 50 families. Previously, each year, if we can do more, we will always do more. We usually have more families than we can give to, which is always try and increase that. Our other big initiative is the school nutrition programs. So I'm sure you're all aware that the school divisions, they offer these lunch programs and snacks just for children that need a bit more, whether it's food, snacks, lunches. So money-wise for those, we've donated a total of $26,000. So the Grande Prairie Public School District, $10,000. The Peace-Wapiti School District, $7,500. The Catholic School Divisions, $7,500, and then we also donated to École Nouvelle Frontière, $1,000 for them. The amounts are all differing, and it's honestly based off of the number of students within that division and the need that they have. There's a much bigger need, but honestly, that's just what we find we're able to give. The other money that we have and other donations that we do are based on families that come to us. We're often approached by whether it's the school teachers that say, this family really is in need, and they appreciated Sparkies, or they weren't able to be to receive the Sparkies this year. And so we donate to individual families, whether it's costs of traveling to Edmonton for medical needs, through gas costs or accommodations. I'll let Riley speak a bit more to that as well.
Yeah, we've been getting lots of even requests just from the Stollery in Edmonton for Grande Prairie families. So there's a couple of pediatric counselors that we've kind of connected with, where they have a family from Grande Prairie that's been struggling to get there for medical reasons, and we can kind of help them get there and get the accommodations that they need, and sometimes even medications and stuff like that. They might not be covered through insurances and whatnot. So we have a wide variety of different requests that we get. Nothing that we literally like to focus on too much. If it has to do with kids, we like that. And again, just kind of trying to make sure that the money does stay in the community. So that's kind of our big thing. So it's just a rough number, but we're kind of raising and donating at this time about around $100,000 a year. So for a 5-person board, I feel like that's I feel like we're doing good work. So especially since we kind of just do this on our days off and when we're able to, right? So that's a little bit about us. I don't know if Mark has anything else, but
only to say that we're very well supported from the department as well, and the community. So it's a great initiative to be part of.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, sure.
Great to hear. I'm calculating in my head. I was at about 60, and so you adding in the rest of the things that you do throughout the year. It
adds up with all the little requests, right? There's I can't think of off the very top of my head what we've had recently here, but tons of requests from the Stollery, lots of requests through Ronald McDonald House as well,
right?
Who we've kind of worked lots with in the past. So
even just down to mattress, we've had I've delivered a mattress to someone's door who's had chronic back pain. So again, it's just very, very community and money in hand, money straight back to people that need it.
Thank you for that.
Sure.
I have Councillor Blackmore in the queue to ask you a question.
Sure, for sure.
Thank you so much for coming in today. I've been really quite familiar with the Firefighters Charity for, 20, 25 years. And one of the things that I really appreciate is the fact that you can give to individual people. Very few charities can do that because they're restricted by CRA rules. And so I just really encourage you to keep in that wheelhouse. It's very, very important to the community to have access to individual funds for individual families. And thank you so much for the work that you do. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Councillor Blackmore. Anyone else? Councillor Berg?
Yeah, no question. I just actually wanted to say thank you guys for everything that you do, not only in fundraising, but I see you out in the community doing a variety of other things, and nothing that I love seeing more than engaged citizens and helping build community, because it's more than just the 9 of us around the table. It's 70,000 of us that make it a better community, and just want to thank you guys.
Thank you.
One question I have is the firefighter pull, the truck pull. Do you still do that?
That was United Way, I believe, that kind of put that event on, I think. So they would kind of organize the big event, and then they would ask us to take part in it.
You did the barbecue, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, we did the barbecue there as well as the truck pull. We didn't do it the last couple years. No, I can't remember. I think maybe through COVID or something like that, it got kind of maybe lost, but something we'd obviously be willing to do again. So.
Yeah, that was a purposeful comment. So out there in the world, in Grande Prairie world, maybe we need to bring
there you go.
Back.
Yeah.
So thank you, Riley and Mark, for both coming, and I don't see any other questions. Councillor Thiessen, yes? Go ahead.
Thank you, Chair Bosch. I don't normally sit on this committee, so we try not to ask too many questions. Just curious, I know your firefighters calendar was always a really, really popular hit. I didn't see any advertising for the 2025 calendar this year. I assumed it was because I said no, but nobody asked me. But how does that do for you guys, and are you planning on bringing that back? Because I know it's fairly popular with a lot of residents.
Thank you. Yeah, it's actually appreciate the question, because we did. So our last one was in 2024, and it raised just over 20,000, which again goes towards it. So although it's seen sometimes as it's a calendar, but 20,000 is significant, especially if we've got 100,000 going out each year. So it's a big part of our fundraising. We are not doing one currently this year. It does take a lot of planning ahead of time, and so we currently have 8 new recruits that are being trained up, and so just with lots going on, we thought we'll put it on hold, but 2026 possibly.
All right, I know a few residents that'll be happy to hear that. Thank you.
You're scheduled now. There you go.
There you go.
Thank you both for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to move on to our service area update, and Chief Lemieux, would you mind?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So first I'll talk about the Grande Prairie Police Service. So recruit class number 1 is graduating this week. Graduation ceremony being held on Friday, February 21st. So congratulations to that recruit class. Next, from Enforcement Services, Peace Officer Sergeant Ryan Hoffman recently completed development of the LiDAR Operator Certification and Speed Enforcement course for the Grande Prairie Police Service and Grande Prairie Enforcement Services. This one-day course covers theory, practical assessments, as well as court procedure. And this training will be used to certify police and peace officers on the use of LiDAR speed enforcement technology starting later this month. 3 community peace officers attended the mental health first aid course on February 12th and 13th, and 2 peace officers received certification as Commissioner of Oaths for the department, with more scheduled to be added to that number. This certification allows the officers to swear affidavits of service and other official court documents used for trial. And 5 employees in mobile outreach have completed the crisis intervention and communication skills training on January 30th and 31st. Update from the RCMP. The Law Enforcement Torch Run presents its annual Polar Plunge on February 28th in support of Special Olympics Alberta and the Grande Prairie Special Olympics Summer Games. This is a fundraising event whereby individuals have the honor of bravely jumping into freezing cold waters in the middle of a bitter Alberta winter. And Staff Sergeant Lawson will be proudly representing the RCMP at that particular event. And the RCMP positive ticketing campaign, each watch has been given a large amount of positive tickets to be handed out to deserving youth who are being good role models and observed helping members of the community and being outstanding students at their school. So the ticket can be redeemed for a free small Domino's pizza of their choice. So very positive campaign by the RCMP. From Emergency Management, GPREP, a strike team and task force leader training was completed earlier this year, and a tabletop training for our new emergency communication plan occurred just last week. From the Community Knowledge Campus, membership statistics to the end of January show 10,220 total members. Comparing numbers to January 2024, there has been a 31% increase. And sporting events coming up at the Community Knowledge Campus, February 21st to 23rd, the Eastlink Centre will host a busy weekend of sporting events, resulting in no public access to the field house and aquatics during this time. We invite you to cheer on the athletes competing in the 4th annual Vertical Limit Volleyball Tournament, featuring 50 teams, and the Rocky Mountain Qualifier for Artistic Swimming, welcoming 400 athletes from across Alberta. And from events and programming, registration is now open for summer camps. So online registration is available at cityofgp.com/programs. And Travel Alberta is awarding Grand North Winter Festival $30,000 for our 2026 event. And our Director Catherine will be meeting with our Destination Development Manager, Mr. Christopher Smith, in person while he's in town for the Going North Conference. They'll be talking about a partnership with Travel Alberta for continued support for events like the Grand North Winter Festival. And upcoming events at the Bonnet Centre, Storm play Lloydminster tonight. Puck drops at 7 p.m. and they play Bonneville Pontiacs on February 26th, and Storm plays the White Court on February 28th. And the Big Brothers Big Sister Ultimate Escape fundraiser will be hosted in the Bows on March the 1st, and Theory of a Dead Man will be playing the Bows on March the 5th, with limited tickets still available. And that's my update, Madam Chair. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Mayor Clayton, first question.
Thanks, Chair Bosch. Chief Lemieux, if you've already announced this, I apologize, but do you have a new executive director for GPREP yet?
We are still in the recruiting process. We'll announce that as soon as we've completed that. We're still a little ways away. There are a number of steps that we're going through in that process. Actively working on that process. Currently, Brian Ballard is the acting GPREP manager.
Perfect. Thank you.
Perfect. No, I don't see any other questions. Thank you, Chief Lemieux. We're going to go into the naming dedication for Rotary Avenue in the Multiplex. So welcome. Angela, if you can introduce yourself for those at home.
Hi, good morning.
Chief Lemieux, did you need to introduce this?
I was just going to mention that Angela and her staff have prepared a report for us here on the naming dedication proposal, and Angela will review the details with you.
Thank you for that.
Good morning, thank you. My name is Angela Redding. I am, pardon me, I am the Director of Recreation. The proposal to name the first floor corridor Rotary Ave at the Eastlink Centre through a naming dedication seeks to continue honoring the significant contributions of the Rotary Clubs of Grande Prairie, who have played a pivotal role in supporting community initiatives, including their $100,000 contribution to Eastlink Centre's capital fundraising campaign. In 2010, the City of Grande Prairie entered a 10-year agreement with the Rotary Clubs for naming rights, which expired in December 2021. The original agreement was successfully fulfilled by all parties, with the Rotary Clubs meeting their capital investment obligations. Given the community recognition of the name Rotary Ave and its established presence within the facility, the naming dedication offers an opportunity to maintain the name without requiring further capital investment from the city or the Rotary Clubs. The Rotary Clubs represented by their multi-club committee support this change, confirming that they are not exploring any additional financial contributions to the space at this time. Importantly, the city will not incur costs for signage or branding, as these would continue to be maintained or replaced as needed by the Rotary clubs. The proposal also eliminates the potential financial burden of removing existing signage or seeking new sponsorship for that space, which could have additional costs. Alternatively, our sponsorship strategist will continue to work with any new interested parties to offer other identified assets that are currently available at the Eastlink Center for sponsorship, or explore the asset inventory for other city spaces at alternative locations that are currently available. This transition from a naming rights agreement to a naming dedication ensures continuity, minimizes disruptions for patrons, and aligns to City Council's strategic focus of engaging relationships. Therefore, it is recommended that City recommend Council approve the naming of the first floor corridor at the Eastlink Center as Rotary Ave through a naming dedication. That is the end of my report, and I'm happy to take questions.
Thank you, Angela. I have Councillor Burke.
Yeah, thanks, Chair Bosch. Thanks, Angela. Again, similar to the last group, I really appreciate what Rotary does in the community. So no real opposition, but I do have two questions. You'd mentioned asset inventory. So do you have a general idea as to how many vacant, unsponsored naming rights that you currently have within the building?
Thanks, Freddie.
Thank you, through the chair. So some examples of current naming rights would include the already named. So we've got Aquaterrasaurus Land and the Field House and those locations that have Weyerhaeuser Arena, that kind of thing. But potential assets include, we've got corridor pillars in both the first and second floors. We've got the walking and running track that's currently available. We've got an aquatic area that is available for naming rights, as well as the fitness concourse. So that's just to name a few. I do work closely with Robin Dirksen, our advertising and sponsorship strategist, and she's got all kinds of fantastic ideas for naming rights.
Wonderful, because that was a concern that if we were getting low on potential naming rights, to give one away wouldn't be prudent. You didn't mention a specific timeline. Are you requesting that this be permanent, or is there a 5 or 10 year review happening?
Thank you, through the chair. So as per the policy, this would be an ongoing naming dedication, similar to what we did in 2022. We did the Legends Lounge naming dedication over at the Design Works Center.
So permanent, is
yes,
what you're saying.
correct.
Okay. Councillor O'Connor.
Thank you, Chair Bosch. I really like the idea of supporting that. I'm almost a 35-year Rotarian, and it really warms my heart. Unfortunately, I was not aware, and people don't refer to it as Rotary Way. So I have a slight suggestion, if you're open for it, is that because it's Rotary Avenue, if I say, meet me on Rotary Avenue, there's quite a lot of space. If you wanted to put that up on the screen, you can't? Okay. I would say Rotary West, and then Rotary East, and Rotary South. And you make the center where the Rotary wheel is, call that Rotary Hub, and then the stairwell is Rotary North. And just for consideration, I think it would, because when we were at Triad Day, I said, go down the hall corner there. And I didn't realize that was the Rotary Hub. So I just, as a suggestion, I think this would be a great way, and then we'll put it on top of people's minds.
A small suggestion, I see that. Councillor Thiessen.
Thank you very much, Chair Bosch. I'm not a Rotarian. I'm a Rotarian by spirit. I really support all the good work that they do throughout the community, similar to the Firefighters Foundation, but at a bit of a higher grade level there globally. I was actually thinking the same thing that Councillor O'Connor was thinking, but maybe not as genius-like as he presented. What I'm seeing on the map here is sort of an east-west rotation and then a north-south rotation. And so For me, I was thinking about, I wrote down here wayfinding. So if I say, hey, meet me at the Jungle Gym, on Rotary Ave, there's a very good possibility that someone could come into the West Stores and walk all the way into the Design Work Center, following the signs that say Rotary Ave, not knowing that there's a Northwest Rotary Ave as well at the same time. Has any consideration been made to maybe make Rotary Ave that east-west orientation, or something like Councillor O'Connor said, like a Rotary Way, lane, or street, so that it's better for people when they're trying to navigate around the facility?
Angela?
Thank you, through the chair. No, and so this conversation is really intriguing. I most certainly will bring that feedback back to our sponsorship strategist, and she would work with Rotary to see that we could define that wayfinding a little bit better. I think it's a neat idea. We'll see what we can work with them to do. We'll take it under advisement.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, councillors. Councillor Blackmore.
Thank you, Councillor Bosch. I am absolutely 100% opposed to north, south, east, west. We're not talking about a great distance. We're not talking about, from 100th Street to 118th Street. We're talking about a small amount of space with limited availability of signage. And I just don't understand why you couldn't say, I'll meet you on Rotary Avenue by Second Cup, or I'll meet you on Rotary Avenue by the south entrance. Like, for Pete's sake, I just can't think of anything more insane to put 4 or 5 different types of signage in such a small space. And I would not support that at all.
Thank you, Councillor Blackmore. Perspectives, hey? We have several opinions around this. Oh, Mayor Clayton.
Thanks. As always, I'm sure you appreciate council's input. We'll leave it to your good judgment to do what's best. I had a question, though, in regards to, I just want to clarify. So initially, Rotary clubs gave $100,000, and now you're renewing this sponsorship with no remuneration. Is that correct?
Ms. Rennie?
Thank you, through the chair. That is correct. So that's why the request is to switch from naming rights to a naming dedication.
Okay.
There's no more investment.
Okay.
Chief Lemieux, you have a comment?
I just got to add one more comment. As a recommendation from our marketing people is that it's difficult to find sponsorship for a hallway. Sponsors are very interested in sponsoring a field house or a particular location where there's an activity, but the hallway is something that's going to be very, very difficult to sell. So that's why we're coming forward with this recommendation.
I have one question to ask you. Has Rotary stepped up with any type of funding in any type of marketing that they would like to proceed with outside of this avenue?
So specifically to that, we do have digital advertising that is available across the campus. And so our sponsorship strategist would work with them if they were looking for advertising on any of those digital screens. That all expired at the end of the contract that we had with the naming rights. And so they would enter into that agreement like any of our other sponsors would.
So I guess my question is, since 2021, have there been conversations with the Rotary clubs in that regard for sponsorship?
For further funding? No, they have not committed any further funds at this time.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions? Councillor Berg.
Well, I'll just do business, but I will make one comment if...
Mayor Clayton is... Oh, you're okay?
Okay, so the simple comment is I would actually prefer to see a 10-year renewal and reevaluate at that point. But again, I'll make a motion to throw it to council, and we can debate that when that time comes. So I would recommend that committee recommend council approve the naming of the first floor corridor at the Eastling Center, located at number 10 Knowledge Way, as Rotary Avenue through a naming dedication.
Thank you, Councillor Berg. That is in order. Is there any comments or questions? We'll call the question.
Councillor Blackmore in favor.
Thank you. That is carried. Mayor Clayton, you had a comment?
I'm good to wait
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I look forward to hearing the perspectives of others once it hits council. So thank you, Ms. Redding, for that. And we will skip 6 and 7. We don't have correspondence or other business, and we'll go right into bylaw and policy review. 8.1, we have amendments for policy 315. And Chief Lemieux, can you introduce that, please?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So earlier, Katie Bieberdorf did bring some information and around policy 315 community group funding, received some feedback from committee and council, and so she's bringing back an proposed amendment to policy 315, and I'll let Katie walk you through her report.
Thank you, Chief Lemieux. Welcome, Katie.
Good morning. Thank you. One of the primary changes of policy 315 was removal of FCSS funding, which we had presented back in January, and creation of a standalone FCSS policy. In addition, administration is proposing additional amendments to policy 315, including the development of 3 streams of grant funding. The first stream is for small grants up to $10,000 per year to a maximum of $100,000 per year available for this stream. It would have reduced application and reporting requirements. The second stream is for medium-sized grants up to $25,000 with a maximum of 2 years funding per project. This stream would be pilot project or seed funding to respond to unmet, complex, or emerging community needs and pressures. These grants would include funding agreements and reporting requirements, and this stream would be capped at $100,000 per year. Large grants for community partners and organizations operating city-owned facilities would be a maximum of 2 years with enhanced reporting requirements and funding agreements. There is a table in the report that outlines the number of grants and average amounts given out within each range over the last 6 years. Lastly, capital grants would be capped at a maximum of 50% of the total project costs, which is in alignment with other capital funding opportunities and provincial grants. It is administration's intention to recommend funding for 1 year only in 2026, which would align with the FCSS funding cycle in 2027, at which time it would return to 2-year funding for eligible categories. And a new standalone FCSS funding policy will be brought forward in the near future. Administration is requesting that committee recommend council approve amendments to policy 315.
Thank you, Katie. Is there anybody with any questions prior to moving on? Mayor Clayton.
Thanks, Chair Bosch. Just more of a clarification. So the community group, if council of the day wanted to fund a capital initiative, the funding source to a maximum 50%, council could then in turn fund it, the other 50% or 60 or whatever, the other 10% or whatever, out of another funding stream. But this stream will be capped at 50%, just for clarification.
Ms. Bieberdorf?
Yes, thank you. That would be the intention. And typically in the past, what we've done is brought it forward in June and referred them all to budget deliberations. So at that time, council could identify other funding sources.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Councillor Blackmore.
If there's no other questions, I would do business.
Okay. No, we don't have any further questions. Please go ahead.
So I move that committee recommend council approve amendments to policy 315. And in speaking to this, I feel that this cleans up a lot of the questions we've had going into previous budget cycles. And I look forward to seeing this come to fruition. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Blackmore. That motion is in order. Any questions from our committee? No? We'll call the vote. And that carries. All right, we'll go into our outstanding items list. Chief Lemieux?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So today we've dealt with part of item 1350, which is community group / FCSS funding, but I'd like to keep this on the list until we get the new FCSS funding policy in front of you. So no changes recommended to the outstanding items list.
Thank you, Chief Lemieux. Councillor Berg.
Yeah, I'd like to move committee receive the February 18th outstanding items list as presented for information.
Thank you. Councillor Blackmore, did you have a question?
Oh, no, sorry. I'll lower my hand.
Okay, thank you. And we'll call the question. And that carries. I would like someone to move us into camera, and we won't be coming out publicly.
So moved.
Thank you, Mayor Clayton. We'll call the question.
Councillor Blackmore in favor.
And that carries.